LBC, I'm Clive Bull. We're talking about the Brexit ruling from the High Court today. What should happen next? 0345 6060 973. Louise in Fulham. Hello, Louise.
Hi there.
Hi, what would you like to say?
Well, I'm really shocked that the current government has actually allowed it to get to this stage. The fact that British judges had to spell out to the government that we have a proud and 300-year-old system of parliamentary democracy is shocking.
Well, I'm sure they know that, but they also know that we had a very big vote with a huge number of people turning out, and the people have said what they want. And isn't there a danger that by putting it to an MP's vote, it may not happen at all?
Well, perhaps not, but this isn't about remain or not remain. This is about the fact that we have a separation of powers in this country between the executive, the current government, the courts, the judiciary, and the parliament. And the idea that we now have members of government and also MPs from UKIP who are actually saying that the courts shouldn't be able to say what the current law is frankly a damning indictment on British democracy.
Well, what is the consequence of this, though? Now that we have this ruling, and we just heard from Alistair Carmichael that this could lead to a second vote, even not having a Brexit at all.
Well, I think the consequence should be, and I can't speak for this government obviously, because I'm the Liberal Democrat candidate for Chelsea and Fulham.
Oh, right.
But the consequence should be that the current government stops telling the judges what the law is and actually listens to the judges and drops the idea of having an appeal.
OK, but then what happens if they forget that, they go to a vote on Article 50 and the MPs, by a small majority, decide, well, no, we're not triggering Article 50. Then what happens?
Well, I can't answer what would happen then, but what I can tell you is that the system...
It feels wrong, doesn't it, to you?
A massive decision... Sorry, let me just finish the question.
Yeah, go on.
The system which we have in place here, which is when a question as important as this has to be decided, it has to be decided by our sovereign parliament. And the idea that Theresa May just thinks that she can sidestep parliament and do what she wants is so terrifying to so many British voters.
I don't think you'll find it is terrifying at all, though. What people seem to be terrified by is the fact that they voted one way and it might not happen.
Well... That's always
I'm getting far more terrified messages along those lines, I can tell you.
Well, I suppose as a Liberal Democrat, my answer to that would be perhaps now's the time for a general election so that people can actually vote for the candidates they think are going to represent their view in the sovereign parliament, which is meant to be deciding.
Well, I can see your logic there, absolutely, and technically I think that's the way it should work then, that rather than the government implementing the will of the people, it should be the people choosing MPs, and then the MPs decide what to do on behalf of the people. Is that how it should work?
Well, that is how it does work and how it should work. I mean, I think we're in a really interesting time, and this is perhaps slightly broadening on your debate, but there seems to be a movement in this country, perhaps from people who voted Brexit, to make referendums trump Parliament. And that's not the way our country works. Different European countries have a system where referendums decide the most important issues. That's not the system in the UK. The system in the UK is that they're advisory. Now, I understand that people who voted Brexit want to actually leave the EU, but we can't just skip over 300 years of British democracy and parliamentary sovereignty in order to do it. We have to go through the legal process. Otherwise, people will be able to get away with doing quite a few bad things because they're just ignoring the will of Parliament. So
I hesitate to use the word Trump, but I think you may be right. It's about whether referendums trump Parliament or vice versa. Louise, thank you very much. 0345 6060 973 is the number. John in Tottenham. Hello, John.